here at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Saturday, November 30th. If you are just finding me here on YouTube, this is a vlog about cross stitch, and occasionally I do show some quilts. So if you are new, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. It's been 2 weeks since my last update, and so I hope that you all had a wonderful 2 weeks. If you celebrated Thanksgiving here in the States, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. For us here, we had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and now today begins the Operation Christmas decorating, which will take me a couple of days. I am about a day behind because yesterday, which was Black Friday, I ended up spending the majority of the day in AT&T getting a new phone, and so I'm recording my video on a brand new phone that I have no idea how to work. So if you actually see this video on YouTube, it means that I figured it out and everything was successful. But I had to trade in my iPhone yesterday, and I've got the new Google Pixel. It's an Android, so it's a completely different operating interface than what I'm used to, and so it's been a little bit on the struggle bus. I know I will eventually figure out how everything works, and my brother did tell me that I will love it. They went from iPhones to Googles, and they love it, so it's just, I have to learn how to use this new phone. And so I'm not sure what the video quality will be like. I don't know how quickly it will back up to my Chrome or to my Google Drive. The hope is that it will back up quickly. A lot quicker than my iPhone, because the last 2 times that I was working on videos, it would tell me that the videos were backed up, and then when I would go look for the videos, there were no videos there. And so it really was very stressful trying to get these videos uploaded and onto, to where I could, edit them and then put them onto YouTube. So with the Android, the hope is that the two operating systems will talk to each other and the videos will go up a little bit more streamlined and quicker and with less stress. So anyway, this video is going to be a little bit shorter because, again, I'm not really sure how any of this works, and so I am just going to talk about cross stitch in this video. I am going to break them up like I have been, just because I am learning all the ropes and all the things. So bear with me as we kind of go through this. My last video, I also forgot 2 segments to put into the video, and I didn't find them until after the video had been uploaded to YouTube for several days. So I'm really hoping that this whole new process goes a lot easier. So bear with me as I figure out where to look and all the things. So as you can see, I'm in a different location. I'm in my cold frozen dungeon because everybody is home today. The house is a mess, and it just seemed a lot easier to come out here. It is very cold out here. It's 28 degrees outside, and it is barely 40 degrees in here. So that's why I'm all bundled up. Hair's in a bun today. It's just kind of a hot mess kind of day because it's been so dry outside. My hair's a frizzy mess, and I just threw it up in a bun and all the things. So anyway, just bear with me in this video as I try to get through it. Anyway, so without further ado, here's going to come the first break. You'll only notice the page break as I kind of reorganize everything so I don't forget again some of the things that I was supposed to talk about. Bear with me for 1 second. So before I go any further into my video, I do want to talk a little bit about the Anniversaries of the Hart Stitch Along, which is starting on January 1st. I am co-hosting this with Deborah. Right now, Deborah is taking a little bit of a break from Instagram, but my hope is that she will return on January 1st to help me kick this off. I'm stitching mine on all one piece, and I believe that she is breaking hers up into smaller pieces and working on them that way. I have been collecting my charts over the past year. When I first began collecting the charts, you could not find, there were certain ones that were not easy to find. And right about the time that I completed my set, they re-released all of the charts. So they are widely available. You can check in with your local needlework shop if you would like to join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to challenge myself to finish it next year. So I will start at January 1st, and my goal is to finish it by December 31st, or sooner. But I am going to personalize mine with my family's names and dates and things like that. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I do get a lot of questions about how many charts are in the series, and there are only 12. Two of the charts have bonus patterns in them. And so as long as you have all 12 of them, you're good to go. And I will list them all below from 1 to 12. That way, if you are interested, you can just go into the description box and copy those down and then start looking for them. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people are planning on joining us, and so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a forever kind of sale, so it's not like when I finish it in December, I'm just going to abandon you guys, because as we know, a lot of times stitch-alongs can become stitch-alones, and the stitch-alongs that I host, I will always be available to answer questions or to cheer you on. I'm not going to just leave you out in the middle of Cyberland with nobody there to root you onto the finish line. So I hope that you will consider joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am stitching mine on a piece of 35 count sand that I picked up from Willow Tree Fabrics. I think it's Willow Tree. It's either Willow Tree or Willow Fabrics. I'll put a link down below. My piece is 19.5 by 27.5. I want to say that number kind of sticks out as being the right amount. I know I've told a lot of people, and you would think that I would retain the knowledge, but it's just, that seems right. I did take a little bit of time, and I went through the books and I wrote down all of the fancy floss needed for it. However, I am not using all of the fancy floss. The check marks are what I have in my stash. What I've decided to do from here on out is I will either pull, if I need a particular color, I will pull now from my DMC stash, or I will look through my fancy floss stash to see if something maybe matches the color that is needed. These colors here are the ones that are used in multiple charts. If it was only used in one chart for one stitch, I'm not going to spend, $2.50 on a whole skein of thread. So I'm just going to use a DMC conversion for that. And I do that a lot of the time. So you can just use the DMC conversion. I've seen the finished product of both just DMC and fancy floss, and they both look fantastic. So even if you do decide to use DMC, it's going to look beautiful. I use DMC in a lot of my stuff, and I think it's just as beautiful as the stuff that's got the fancy floss in it. So I hope that you will consider joining us. It is going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. Again, it kicks off on January 1st, and I'm very excited. I'm going to start with the first house, and I'm just going to go in order. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you'll join us. So let's talk a little bit about progress and my plans going forward. Not this past week, but the week before, I'll work on this for half an hour, Monday through Friday in the mornings, just to kind of get my day started. This is Words of Enlightenment by Tempting Tangles. It is a stitch along. And I just realized that I did not print off, I think it's number 10. I think number either 10 or 11 it just came out yesterday. I'm a couple behind. And so in my last video, I think I was to the chopped part. And so I went and I finished the second row, and I've started down on the third. I did not work on this past week because the first 2 days I just had a little bit of Sally Spencer left. And so I was working on trying to get her finished, and then I had a doctor's appointment, and then Thanksgiving and all the things. So I have not had a chance to get back to this one yet, but I plan on this coming week to work on it Monday through Friday for a half hour every day. And it's a good way for me to start my day, especially since the next week is really busy with quilts coming in, and I've got a couple quilts here that need to go back to their people. And so it's a good way to kind of start the day and calm down a little bit, and, you know, kind of like get things a little bit into perspective, or, you know, focus of what I need to get done for the day. I'm stitching my Words of Enlightenment on a piece of 32 count fairy dust. I believe it's Belfast, with the DMC conversion. I did have somebody who started on this stitch along, and she wasn't loving the colors, and I have to be honest, in the beginning I wasn't loving the colors either, but I like them more now. They kind of remind me of summer, just kind of like those bright summer days, and so I decided to continue with it. My husband really likes the color, so I decided to keep going, and it's growing on me. It's not really my color forte, because I am more of like fall colors. Those are kind of like my style of color combinations. But this one has grown on me, and I do like it a lot better now than I did in the beginning. So I told her to just keep going, and the colors will hopefully grow on her, I hope. And then situate things. So I think in my last video I had just started stitching this one, and I might have only had the top border. This is Santa Sampler by Country Cottage Needleworks. I'm stitching mine on a piece of 32 count Vintage Country Mocha Lugana, and I just have to put the head on. I don't know why I just didn't finish stitching his head. I just need to finish the gingerbread man's head, give him some eyes and buttons, and then I can move down to, there's like Merry Christmas, and then there's another border, and then I'll be done with this one. And so that one's been a lot of fun to stitch. I'm doing it with all the called for DMC, and I think that it only is called for DMC. Yeah, it only calls for DMC. So that makes it nice. And then I have been working on Thanksgiving Comes Again by the Prairie Schooler. Even though Thanksgiving is over, I'm still going to continue to work on this until I am finished. And then I will just put it in my box of finishes, and at some point next year I will fully finish it. I haven't really decided yet. So right here is the bottom of it. And so I have got the one house done. There's like some grass, there's fencing, and then this border comes down to here, and then there's like I think it's a barn that sits kind of up in here. So hopefully I will be able to get this finished in the next couple of weeks. I absolutely love it. It's such a joy to stitch on. I'm a little bit sad I wasn't able to get it done in time for Thanksgiving, but next year I will definitely have it done for Thanksgiving. My thoughts for fully finishing is, so I know a lot of you guys know who Priscilla and Chelsea are. And so Priscilla always has great vignettes, and I noticed that some of her Prairie Schoolers that are long like this, they sit up. So they're on like a pedestal, and then they come up, and then they're, you know, on whatever it is that she has them attached to. And I like that because the way that my decorations are, I have a lot of small decorations, but I don't have any large, like taller ones to where you can have it up and then the smaller ones kind of around it. So I think over the next year, I'm going to try to find some sort of a pedestal or platform that I can mount this to, and then have it kind of up a little bit with my smaller stuff around it. So that's kind of my tentative plans right now. But I'm stitching this on a piece of 30 count even weave that I tea and coffee dyed with all of the called for DMC. So I finished Sally Spencer, and now that Sally Spencer is finished, which I will show you her in just a minute. So she was well, let me talk about my rotation a little bit. So I have, in the evenings, I have 3 projects that I rotate. So let me start over again, because that doesn't make any sense. Imagine a 2-week block of time. Monday through Friday, I rotate between, and in this case, it's Thanksgiving Comes Again and Santa Sampler. So yesterday was Friday, and I was working on Thanksgiving Comes Again. And so on Monday, I will start with the Santa Sampler, and then I'll go Santa Sampler, Thanksgiving comes again, Santa Sampler, Thanksgiving comes again, and end the week with Santa Sampler. Then the beginning week, I will start with Thanksgiving comes again. So the goal is within that 2-week period, both of those weekday pieces will see 5 days of stitching, or 5 evenings of stitching, because I usually work on those in the evenings. I usually start about 8 o'clock, and like from 8 to 11 is usually how I stitch. It doesn't always happen like that. It might not be till 9, but I'm usually getting on average 2 to 3 hours of stitching in the evenings. Then on the weekends is a whip. And so this is something that I've started. It's been hanging out in the mocking basket of whips, and it just needs to be pulled out and worked on. And so far it's been just working on that one whip on Saturday and Sunday. And so this past week I finished Sally Spencer, which is the Sal that I'm co-hosting with Deborah. It started on July 1st. I can't remember the hashtag off the top of my head. I want to say it's like BOF Sally Summer Stitching, and I will make sure to put that down below. But I did finish it, and so now that she is finished, she is out of my weekend rotation, and that means that one of my whips has to come out from the basket, and it's time to get that whip finished. And so in this case, it is Queen of Freedom. I have really been wanting to get back to my Queen of Freedom, and I'm excited that Sally's done, and now I can focus on her. She is absolutely stunning. I love the queens. Deborah shared the Autumn Queen with me, and my goal is to get and stitch the other queens. I have Snow Queen, and there's a Spring Queen, and there's a summer one, but I feel like Queen of Freedom will work for the whole summer, and I absolutely love her. And I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am that she's back in my rotation again. So when I left off, I had the first page done. And when I was looking at it again, I thought I had forgot to put some stitches in here and up here, but then I discovered this morning that those are beads. So the top half of her is done. And so all I have left to do is the bottom section. And so there's great big sections of color. And so that will go kind of fast. And then I've heard when you hit the bottom of her dress, that's when it slows down a little bit. So I'm excited to get back to her. I'd originally had wanted to get her done by the 4th of July this past year, and that didn't happen. So for sure this year, I am not stopping her until she is done. I'm stitching her on a piece of 32 count Vintage Sahara that I picked up from 123 Stitch with all of the called for DMC and Mill Hill beads and Cricut and all the things. And so, yeah, I'm really excited which I'll talk about Sally just momentarily, but when I realized that I was finished with Sally, she was the first thing that popped into my mind. I thought it was going to be one of my Autumn or the Hockran Hollows, but she was the one that called the loudest to me from the box. So it's her turn to get finished, and I couldn't be more thrilled. So yeah, so I will just continue working on her till she's done. So you guys will get to see my progress. So I'm going to pause really fast because I'm going to go gather up my finishes, and I'll be right back. All right, so as I was talking about earlier, I finished Sally Spencer. And so this is the chart, Sally Spencer by Birds of a Feather. This was a stitch along that, or still continuing to be a stitch along. I shouldn't talk as if it's in past tense. This is a stitch along that I'm co-hosting with Deborah. We started it on July 1st of this past year. A lot of you guys joined in. The problem came about when we got ready to start the Sal and realized that Sally Spencer was out of print. Because when I first bought my chart, you could get Sally Spencer everywhere. I mean, I saw her at 123 Stitch, I saw her at Bush Mountain, I saw her all over the place. And so when I purchased her, she was widely available. And then Deborah suggested we should do her as a stitch along. And so I announced it on my channel. People were still able to get her, but as the date got closer and closer and closer, she started to sell out, and then we all quickly learned that she went out of print. And I don't really think that they are planning on reprinting her charts because the designer did pass away. And from what I've heard, the little scuttlebutt I've heard is that the family is not planning on, reprinting her charts, so she's out of print. I know that you can still find her in sort of out-of-the-way needlework shops that don't really have an online presence. You just have to, do some of the legwork and call and find out if, she's in their shop, because about once a week somebody will send me a message saying that they found her up in New England or they found her down in Florida. So you just have to kind of call around. I do know that she's starting to hit the secondary market, and she's going for like $30, which when I bought her, she was $6.29. So unfortunately, if you're, not able to find her in one of those out of the way little needlework shops, you can find her on the secondary market, but you're probably going to pay an arm and a leg to get her, unfortunately. Also, now that she's finished, I've had a lot of people ask me what I plan on doing with my chart. So originally, I did talk to one of my Instagram friends, and she expressed interest in it, and I did tell her that I would send it to her when I was done, and I need to touch base with her and find out if she's still interested in it. If she's not interested in it, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, because the problem is that now she's out of print. I don't want to send her to somebody who's just going to turn around and sell her. I want her to go to a stitcher who's actually going to stitch her and maybe pass her along to another stitcher who might also want to stitch her instead of just turn around and sell her. So for right now, I'm going to hold on to Sally Spencer, mainly because, Deborah is not on Instagram right now. She is taking a little vacation from it, and so I get questions. There's other people working on her, and so every once in a while I will get a question, and so I need the chart to be able to answer the question. So for right now, I'm holding on to her. If my Instagram friend decides that she's not interested in her somewhere down the road, I will find a good home for her to go to. But until that happens, I'm just going to hold on to her. I know I can hear the groans right now because so many of you guys want to stitch her, and I want you guys to stitch her. But for right now, I'm just going to hold on to her for a little while until Deborah comes back onto Instagram and can kind of take over the, the questions of the Sal for anybody who might have them. And then I will find a good home for Sally. So I'm going to hold on to her for a little while. So, stay tuned because what I would like to see happen is, again, that she goes to somebody who's going to want to stitch her and not want to sell her. And then when that stitcher's done, somebody else might want to stitch her. So it could be that I might just lend her out in the hopes that I get her back and can send her out to somebody else. So I will decide that, and I will let you all know what my plans are, because again, I get questions, once a week, and especially when I showed on Instagram and Facebook that I'd finished her, I got a lot of emails, a lot of messages asking me what was going to be Sally's fate. So bear with me. I'm going to hold on to her for a little while longer, and then I will decide what Sally's fate is, because I do want you all to be able to stitch her. And I don't want, when I release her to the world, I don't want to go onto eBay and see her sitting there. No, it's my copy. I mean, again, the only way I'm going to know is if I put a GPS tracker on her, but you know what I mean. We've all been there before, where we've seen a chart and it goes on eBay for a ridiculous amount of money and you feel awful. So my plan is that when I do release her, it's going to go to somebody who's going to stitch her and not sell her. So just bear with me while I figure all that stuff out. But in the meantime, here's Sally. So this thing is I don't know about this. I can see that it is getting really, maybe if I hold, there we go. I'm getting used to this phone. You're just gonna have to bear with me. So as long as I keep my shiny head in the picture, she's not gonna fade out. Maybe she is gonna fade out. Let me move a little closer. Anyway, nope. I don't know. It's not showing up true to color. In my viewfinder, she looks very faded. So hopefully that's not the case when I go through to edit her. Okay, so let me tell you a little story about Miss Sally. The last time you guys saw her, I think I was down in this area, right down in this corner working. And then I worked across one of the weekends, and I got to the point where you put the name and you put the date. And I didn't want to put the date, and I didn't want to put my name yet because in my mind I still had a long ways to go, and I didn't want to put 2019 if I wasn't going to finish her till next year. So I left that blank, and then the next day on Sunday I continued all the way up the side to the flower, and I realized I was done. And I actually sat there in disbelief. I'm like, no, I can't possibly be done with Sally. What? And I pulled her off the Q snaps, and I looked, and I'm thinking, no, I can't be done. Really? And I mean, I sat there for a few minutes in disbelief because she's done. Like, no. So on Monday and Tuesday evenings, I went and I charted my name on Monday. And then I stitched my name Monday night, and then my last name and the date on Tuesday night. And then she was officially done. I think there was only like a little flower over here I had forgotten, but she was done. And I don't know. I can't explain. I felt a little sad that she's done. And man, she is not showing up very good. If you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Facebook, I did post a better picture of her, and I apologize that it is going in and out. Maybe I'll switch this way. There we go. That's a little better. Anyway, so I showed her, I want to say Wednesday morning, and she was completed. I stitched her with all of the called for general arts, and she is stitched on a piece of 32 count Vintage Country Mocha in Belfast. And I think she turned out fantastic. She is the first sampler that will be going on my sampler wall. So I have a lot more samplers that I need to get to so that she has company. But I'm very excited. I'm going to put her in my bedroom. We have a wall that's over our dresser, and right now it's decorated with a couple of mini quilts and then a couple of our pictures, and it's been up there for a couple of years, and I feel like it needs to be changed. And so she's going to be the first one to go up on the wall. I absolutely love her, and I'm so glad that I was able to stitch her because there was a stitch along the summer before last, and I really enjoyed seeing everybody's progress. And she was sold out for a while, and then when she came back into stock, that's when I bought her, and well, we all know the rest. So I really, really, really love her. If you have joined the SAL, or if you have everything but you just haven't joined yet, and that you're planning on joining at some other point down the line, you will need an extra skein of Brother in Blue, and you will also need an extra skein of Black Crow. I also started with a full skein of what is it called? Buckeye Scarlet. And I thought I was going to have to order some more. I thought I was going to run out, and I only had 2 strands left by the time I was done. So if you haven't started yet, or you're in the midst of starting, you might want to think about definitely getting 2 extra of the Brother in Blue and the Black Crow, and possibly another Buckeye Scarlet, especially if you didn't start with a full skein. So that would be my recommendation for you. The next finish I had, and I'm going to pop out of the viewfinder just for a second because it's down below, was my Cricut collection, Skeleton Crew. I finished this on the beginning of November. I want to say, was it the 5th or the 7th? I don't remember. I finished it right before my birthday. And in my last video, I had to take it back to the framer because it was crooked, and so I did get that back, but not in time for you guys to see it on my video. And so I'm going to pop out of range here. And here it is. So you can see it's got some nasty glare. You'll probably see the reflection of my messy dungeon. But let's see. So I stitched this on a piece of 32 count. Picture This Plus Heritage. I stitched it with all the called for DMC. It also had Krynic blending filament. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what the numbers were, but I will make sure to put it all down below. I found the frame at Michael's. Joann's had a 60% off coupon, and then Michael's had a 20% off your purchase. So I ended up getting this for 80% off, and it was a $59 frame, and I got it for $17. And then I had them finish it for me. So I love it. It was so much fun to stitch. Hopefully the camera showed it okay and that you didn't see the hot mess that is over there, because it's messy out here. This time of the year stuff just gets tossed. So in the New Year's usually when I come out and kind of clean it. So anyway, so those are my two finishes for the past couple of weeks. And my plans are just going to be to continue working on what I have. I haven't decided if I finish with the Santa sampler. I have not decided what I will do next. I'm kind of leaning towards a couple of ornaments for my Christmas tree, but I haven't really decided. So I'm going to wait till I get a little bit closer and see what calls to me, because I also have Country Cottage Needleworks came out with a pattern called Merry Christmas. I think it was last year. It was either last year or the year before. And I kind of want to stitch that and put that on top of my tree. So I don't know yet which way I'll go. It just kind of depends on when I finish some of that. So, but those are my plans. So I had to take a very brief break and go in the house and warm up because it is really cold out here. I'll be out here all this coming week quilting too, and it's supposed to be like really cold. The low today was it was like 25, and I think my phone, when I came out here and turned it back on, it said it was 28 outside. It is so cold. Anyway, we're gonna forge ahead. So my last video came out, and I have to break my video up into little parts, and there was one video that went missing, and I didn't realize it had went missing. And it wasn't until several days later that the video showed up, and I felt so bad because I didn't even, when I was going in and I was editing and I was putting all the pieces together, I didn't even realize it was missing. And so I felt really bad because when somebody sends me something in the mail, I'm so grateful and so blessed by your generosity. And I don't want anyone to ever think that I don't appreciate it and I take it for granted and I'm not grateful, because I really, really am. And so I felt bad that it wasn't in the video. And so anyway, today I made sure in my notes that it was like in big bold letters to make sure to talk about the stitchy kindness that I did receive over the past couple of weeks. And so from Sharon Peterson, I received this beautiful little thank you cards. And so she sent me this adorable Christmas ornament for my tree. And it's handmade. She picked it up at a craft bazaar. And I love craft bazaars. There's never enough of them around here anymore. And so she picked it up and she sent it to me. And thank you so much, Sharon. I absolutely love it. And it's going to go on my tree today as soon as it gets up. It'll be the first ornament that I place on there. So thank you so, so much. And then I received a birthday present. So Carol Lewis, she has followed me from the very beginning. And I know that I have chatted with her off and on across the different platforms of social media, and she's so sweet. And she sent me a birthday present. She sent me this beautiful card, and your message touched me so much, Carol. She sent me this little chart by Bent Creek, and it's adorable. And I'm gonna be stitching this next year. I've decided to restructure the way that I stitch things, and I will be stitching for all the holidays throughout the year instead of waiting until it gets closer. And so this is going to be one of the ones that I will stitch. And depending on how big it is, it might either go on my Thanksgiving tree, or I might just have to find another little cute display for it. She also sent me these adorable pins. I love these. I have a Halloween set of them that are just so cute. They're so adorable, so detailed, and I love them, and I like to be able to stick them in different little like pin cushions and things like that. So it's a lot of fun, and every time I look at them, it always takes me back to all the, you know, the ones that have shared with me the different pins throughout the year. And so I will so enjoy having these pins in my pin cushion, and every time I see them, I will think of you, Carol. And then she also sent me, let me take off the ribbon, Hollow Harvest by Basic Gray. Basic Gray is one of my favorite fabric designers, and it is a beautiful bundle of fabrics. I wish that I could share them in person because they are absolutely beautiful. And I've already decided I'm going to make him into a table runner. So thank you, Carol. I so appreciate it. It was so generous of you to send me a birthday present, and so sweet and kind, and thank you. I really appreciate both of you guys. And again, I'm sorry, Sharon, that the video last week, or the last 2 weeks, went on a vacation before it appeared to me. So, but I've sent thank you cards out to both of them, so I hope they're not too angry at me. Anyway, but I thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. So now we're at the giveaway portion of the video. Before I announce the winners of my last giveaway and show the giveaways for this video, I do want to give one last chance. So I had a giveaway go unclaimed, and that is Glitter Village by Country Cottage Needleworks. The winner was Lisa Rowan, and she has not come forward to claim it yet, but I do want to give her one more chance to claim, because maybe she just hasn't seen my video yet. I did comment on her comment, but I have yet to hear anything. So if I do not hear anything from Lisa by midnight December 11th, I will go ahead and pull a new winner and announce it in my next video. So Lisa Rowan, contact me. My email is pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com, and send me your address and I'll be able to get that out in the mail to you. I really hope that you do contact me, because I'm gonna hate it if you come across my video a couple of months from now, see that you're the winner, and I've already redrawn. So hopefully you will see that you are the winner of Glitter Village and you'll contact me. In the future, I'm definitely not gonna let giveaways go longer than, you know, I think that one, well, no, that one's been a month. No, that one's been 2 weeks. And then I have a project bag that hasn't been claimed. And so that one's been well over a month now. And so now I have to decide if I want to pull a new winner for that one, or just save it and then give it away down the road again. But I will decide that before my next video. However, in my last video, I had two charts, or two groups of charts that I gave away. The first one was Pumpkin Farm by Blackbird Designs, and the winner of that is Christy Martin. So Christy, if you can get a hold of me via email, pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com, I will get this in the mail to you next week. Congratulations. And then the winner for the early Americans, so it was number 6, Paul Revere, number 7, Abigail Adams, number 8, Patrick Henry, and number 9, Molly Pitcher. So the winner for this is Judy Gibbons. So congratulations, Judy. If you can also get a hold of me at my email, pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com, I will get these in the mail to you next week. Congratulations to both of you. Thanks so much for playing. This video would not be complete if I did not also have a giveaway. So this one will also be 2 charts. The first one is Hello Spring by Plum Street Samplers. I know you're like, spring? But it's never too early to start stitching for spring. And the second is Little House Needleworks, number 1, Betsy Ross, number 2, John Hancock. I guess I should show them. Betsy Ross, John Hancock, and number 6, Paul Revere. So the way that we'll do this is simple. If you are interested in Hello Spring, you put this as number 1, and number 2 will be the early Americans if you are interested in that. If you're interested in both, go ahead and put 1 and 2. If you're only interested in 2, just put 2, or just put 1. However, whichever one you're interested in. The giveaway question is, what is your go-to Christmas dish? So let's say you get invited to a party and you need to bring something to share. What is it that you make? I like to take peanut brittle. to Christmas parties that I get invited to. I have a really quick and easy recipe. It came out of a what are those? Gooseberry patch books, and you do it in the microwave. It's so really, I mean, it's very easy, and it tastes just like you sat there with a cookie thermometer on the stove and you cooked it and cooked it and cooked it. Nobody can ever tell the difference. And so my go-to dish to take to a Christmas party when I have to bring something to share is peanut brittle. So down below, if you would like to enter to win Hello Spring or the Early Americans, all you need to do is tell me what your go-to dish is for Christmas parties, get-togethers, and put that you're interested in either 1 or 2. So 1, Plum Street, 2, Early Americans. And thank you so much for playing. I appreciate it so much. Obviously, the rules are you must be a subscriber, like the video, and then comment below. I did enjoy reading through everybody's comments that they left on my last video. I love that you shared with me what you are thankful for, and I appreciate it so much. There is a lot to be thankful for this year for so many of you, and thank you for sharing with me what you are thankful for. I really appreciate it. So that brings me to the end of my video. I'm sorry that this one is a little bit shorter, but again, I have to figure out how all of this new phone, new camera, new all of it works. And I don't want to have like a really, really long video and, you know, be fighting it the whole step of the way. I know that in my last video, I did promise to show my fall quilts. And unfortunately, the area in which I am at, it doesn't really, there's no way to show them off really, really well. So I might have to just save that for next year. There's not that many of them. I have more Christmas quilts. Also in my next video will be the home tour, hopefully. I will be going and decorating or start decorating the house today. It takes me a couple of days. So I will be, that's what I will be doing while this video percolates. And then of course in my next video, I will have that home tour. So that video will be a long one. Because I have a lot of Christmas stuff to show. A lot of my house gets decorated. It's probably more than Halloween, because I do have quite a few trees and every room is decorated. So stay tuned for that. My hope is also in the next 2 weeks to get a frame for Glitter Village, because it still has not, I have it saved on Amazon, and I just have to wait till payday to get it, and then it needs to be painted and all the things. And so I'm hoping, really, really hoping that I will have that to show you in my next video, and that it will be sitting next to my vintage tree. So yeah, so anyway guys, hope you have a great couple of weeks. If you have any questions, you can always email me at pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com, because again, if you try to send it to me on Instagram, I'm not always guaranteed to get it right away, and then I feel so bad if I come across it and it's been a week since you sent me a message. I also know that there was somebody a couple of weeks ago that sent me a question about quilting, and I cannot find it. So if you were the person who sent me a message and you were asking me about things, you know, what kind of things that you should get because you're learning how to be a quilter, you might have to get in touch with me again. Send it to me to my email, because I don't know what happened to your message. I think when I got it, I was out somewhere. When I came home, I was going to sit down and think about it. And then when I went to go find your question a few days later, I couldn't find it. So, you know, email me. Email me is probably the best way you can get a hold of me. So anyway, so I will let you guys go. And thank you so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. So happy stitching, guys. Bye-bye.